Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano and Frank, the Patriot Bald Eagle. If you had to pause on this video to get your coffee or whatever beverage you deem necessary, go ahead and do that now, as this will be a bit of a lengthy discussion. Not going to be as long as last night, but we do have some things we have to cover on some of the different food shortage report that we covered last night. We have some viewers that have been chiming in on some of these items. And also, I'm going to talk about the balloon that was just shot down in Utah. Let's get to it. So, balloon shot down in Utah. It's something interesting I was reading earlier, and a couple of our viewers had mentioned that, so I looked it up, wanted to do a little bit of research, and it does appear that we have shot down another balloon in Utah. It was 44,000 feet. There are several articles that are covering this, BBC, but I think if you live in Utah, there's a local news station, Fox News, I think, that covered this, and they did a pretty good job of talking about it. There's no threat. They say there's no threat. It is kind of funny that this time last year, February 6, 2023, was the day that we had shot down the what is said was a Chinese spy balloon on the East Coast that had completely traveled over the U.S. And this one, although at 44,000 feet, right, it is, I guess, they might have thought it was a threat. I don't really know. The U.S. fighter jets took it down, though. They say it wasn't a threat, but we used the fighter jets to take the balloon down. I don't really know. Just thought that was interesting. If you want to read I thought the article from BBC, the British public broadcasting system, I think it is, the BBC, they had a really good article on it. But Fox, the Fox Utah News, had just, pretty straightforward. It's pretty vague. I'm going to be honest. It's pretty vague. Not much to it. But, for a fighter jet to shoot it down, it was at 44,000 feet. So I guess, the reason why they did, or why they're saying, is because, you got to watch out for planes when there's a big balloon up in the air. 44,000 feet, yeah. Want to make sure it's not going in it. They said that if it continued on its path, it would have went down through Georgia to the coastline. So, I don't know, pretty weird, but anyway, just wanted to get that out there in case anybody didn't know about that. I didn't know about it, and somebody mentioned it, wanted to look it up. There's several news sites. Just Google Utah balloon, and there's just so many different articles that talk about it. Anyway, let's get to, I don't want to make this a very long video tonight. We have something coming up in the morning, too, that I have to finish. So anyway, some of the shortages that people are talking about, we have a lot of people chimed in from our video from last night. Some people sent a couple photographs of stuff, of things going on. First of all, one of our longtime viewers from Canada and another viewer from Canada were talking about their Walmarts being very low on a lot of different grocery items. Now, this is things that we hear a lot about in the U.S., but I am curious, are we seeing more of this stuff around the world? Walmart stretches all around the world, so and we have viewers from all around the world. So if you shop at Walmart, let us know what you're seeing in the stores. Are you seeing less and less? I know some of the things that they showed, some of the stuff that was shown in some of these pictures was big shortage of bread. How much bread? Now, we've seen shortages of bread at our Walmart, and then it just comes back at a higher price. When it first went up to $1.32 a loaf from $1.10, the bread was gone at our Walmart for like 2 weeks. Okay, came back at $1.32, and yes, I know the price just went up again, and that's what I'm getting to. It just went up again to $1.42 a loaf. I have this thing where I do like a 2-week, make sure it's, if it's not there in 2 weeks, then it's a concern. And the next one here we can say about spices. Okay, now we're always getting comments on shortages of spices, and the ones where I always see it the lowest or out, a lot of them just not coming in at Walmart. At least at our Walmart, and several people who have commented about this over the last couple days, a lot of them are coming in. They are the more expensive ones. The cheaper ones seem to be coming in a lot. Still shortages of salt. I know somebody had said that your Walmart didn't have any salt. We've seen that same thing at our Walmart as well. Salt shortages, that is not uncommon. It's been going on for months and months. We saw at Sam's Club a few months ago where they were completely out of Morton salt for 2 different trips. That was like 3 weeks in a row. That's when it was a concern. That's when I brought it up. I was like, people were saying, oh, they'll have salt again. And then they do. They came back. But it's a concern when it's like a month later. You know, it's been a real issue. Same with sugar. Although sugar is not an issue around here right now, we continue to get several comments from not only our video last night and emails of photographs of it gone, but from previous videos that I've done in the past. I have like 1,400 something videos on here from the last few years. And new viewers are constantly finding our channel through older videos and stuff like that. So I'm referring to some of our new viewers for those videos as well. And I know if I can't get to your comments on some of the newer videos, know that I am checking all of these comments from previous videos over the last almost 4 years. So it's a lot. It really is. It is a lot to handle. But I don't mind. I love doing it. I love my job on here. I love doing this for you guys. I love doing it for us. I love doing it for us too. Because it's good to get this information out here so that we know what to do. We know where to go. Like, that's why we visit the stores. You know, it's kind of like, you know, a few years ago when we had the empty shelf crisis right here in Cincinnati. I know some states, it was funny too. It felt like it all came from the middle here. I kind of thought I was going crazy, right? And then it just started spreading and spreading and spreading. It's like it imploded from within. Right, and then it was like all of a sudden we were getting viewers from all different parts of the country saying, wow, yeah, this is starting to happen here. This is why we do this. This is why we talk about these things, so that you know that the possibility of this happening in your city and state is a possibility. And you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that. Olive oil seems like it is a concern again. This is one we talked about when we were talking about different shortages months ago. This was in a list of top 10 that olive oil, because of in Greece, I guess, and some places in Italy, a lot of the olive oil trees were having issues because of weather. And this is probably why it's a concern. Now, they had said that it was going to be toward the beginning of February or January 2024, but we're probably just seeing it now. And it's all the expensive ones. It's all the expensive olive oil. So a lot of these other ones, and some of our viewers have also mentioned, and I appreciate this, some of the different olive oils that are, if it's really cheap, chances are it's a blend and it's not like 100% olive oil. Now, someone had said there was an issue with avocado oil. I haven't really checked. We'll have to check. I know I saw the one, I didn't point it out, but I saw the one they sell at Aldi. And a lot of people seem to like that one. They also have the grapeseed oil still at Aldi, which has been another issue. We keep getting comments on different cooking oils, and I have a feeling that the more and more these more expensive oils disappear, more and more people are just going to go to the cheaper oils. That's probably why we're seeing such a shortage at Walmart, and that is our next one we're going to talk about, is a lot of our viewers that we're talking about just cooking, like vegetable oil. Not so much canola oil, but vegetable oil was in very short supply. Our Walmart yesterday, and I did not point this out, our Walmart yesterday a couple things of canola oil, which is kind of weird because usually it's the other way around. Usually vegetable oil will be gone and canola oil will just be there. But for whatever reason, it kind of makes me think they're not getting in the canola oil. However, I did see plenty at Aldi, so I don't know. That's what kind of makes me think Walmart may not be getting that in, because products that you traditionally see that are fully stocked at a store will always be there, right? You never see like canola oil just gone unless the price is going up again or it's being shrinkflated, which is basically the same thing. So, it's good that we're paying attention to these things. Thank you all who have commented on the video that we did yesterday. This really helps. This really helps kind of me deliver or to come up with a roadmap of what's going on here. And if you can, and I know I haven't talked about this in a while, but if you can abbreviate your city and state just somewhere at the bottom, that way we kind of get an idea of where it is in the country. I know some people do leave that, who we've talked about that before, but we get new viewers on the channel every day. So just to remind people, if you're talking about something missing, any shortages, any price increases, kind of just, anything you can, even if it's just the state, make it simple. I don't want you to write, to waste your time writing out everything. But if you can just abbreviate, the city and state, that does help a lot. That helps me kind of a general idea of where we're seeing these shortages and what's going on. And we've gotten more comments from some Canadian viewers on shortages as well. It continues to spread, guys. It continues to, and if these things aren't coming back in, I've noticed it has been things that are usually a high dollar. High dollar. Somebody was talking about bleach the other day, and how bleach seems like it's really low. We were at Kroger, and you had said that you had gotten the Kroger bleach, or not Kroger bleach, that you bought Clorox at Kroger, and that it seemed like it was very watered down. Like it wasn't like how bleach used to be. Now, I don't want to read too much into that yet, but I will say about a year ago, there were a lot of people complaining on this, and it wasn't just from Kroger, it was everywhere. And it wasn't just Clorox, it was like store brands. I know one of them was Walmart Great Value. We did see a time where Great Value bleach went away, came back at a higher price. We've always used, I know a lot of people disagree with me, but the stuff from, that's why I got so upset with Dollar Tree, because that's usually what we use. And I did get some the other day. Seems to work just fine for us. I will say it doesn't seem like it's as powerful as Clorox, but now we're hearing another report that someone is a longtime viewer who mentioned this, and thank you for that. But we need to pay attention to this stuff. I don't want you to get down there and take a big whiff of the bleach or something, or a big whiff of Clorox. Don't do that. But if it doesn't smell like, when I get near it, it burns my eyes. And if I get near it and it's not burning my eyes, well, something's wrong. So I don't know. I don't know if they've taken some of the, maybe if it is more watered down. We've talked about this with dishwashing fluid. Okay? Like even Dawn has a lot less viscosity than it used to. And this is why I love having the channel here, because again, this was something that I was like, am I crazy here? Like, what is going on? We noticed this first at Dollar Tree. We noticed it on Palmolive. Now, Palmolive is the thicker dishwashing cleaner, right? Palmolive has always been that's really why I didn't like Palmolive, because it was so thick, it would stay on your fingers for days. Not really. But, it does a great job, but no, in my opinion, no better of a job than Dawn. And Dawn has always been a thinner viscosity than Palmolive. But now it's like watery. It's like very watery. I have noticed it seems like the bigger bottles don't look as watery as the smaller ones. Does that seem right? I don't know. We get the bigger bottle, and I literally do this, and I'm looking like, is it the way the bottle is? Like, I don't know. But, yeah, definitely noticed that. Some other people have noticed that, too. And this is another thing we got to watch out for, guys. Shrinkflation. And now, what's that one people been talking about? Skimpflation. Right? It's kind of what I thought of when somebody was talking about the Clorox. I don't know. We know Clorox had that big, they weren't getting it in there for a while. They weren't getting it in. We had no Clorox for like 2 months. And any Clorox products, too. And I'll tell you what, these things just seem to keep happening. But I will say Clorox did not come in at a higher price. Now, I haven't checked it in a while, but when it started coming back in, it was the same price. But this is usually what happens. Right, we see this with toilet paper. Like, we noticed this with Quilted Northern. When it went away, it came back. Look, it's the regular price. It's the same price as it was. Excuse me. Hasn't gone up yet. The bigger pack did, but they're keeping that smaller pack still at $7.99. What happened, though? It shrunk. It shrunk. So, it's the same thing as losing money. I've even said this in videos before. I would almost rather pay a little more to get the same product. So you get used to these things. Now, I don't know if they did the calculations and thought, well, I just don't see a company that's so big like that thinking, I'm going to get one over here on somebody, right? Come out and be honest. Come out and say, we had to do this. We had to do this. We're keeping you can say it in a good way too, keeping the price the same for you, or word it differently. I don't know, that might be too much to put in advertising, but we're keeping the same price, but we had to take this much out. Right? Even have like a little sign or something. Be honest with people. Honest with people. If you go to a car dealer, right? Or if you go to a car, like a mechanic, right? And they're not honest with you about something, right? And then they overcharge you, and then they don't fully fix the problem. Are you ever going to go back? No. you're going to find the next mechanic and then the next one. Because a lot of, I've heard a lot of nightmare stories about mechanics. That's why it's always good to know somebody in the family that knows how to work on cars. But, and that could be a stretch. But I'm just saying, like, if people were more honest about these things, then it wouldn't be so much of a, wow, like, I'm really going through this toilet paper a lot faster than I used to. Because most people probably aren't looking at the numbers. And guys, I know people are always wanting me to check all the different things and square footage and expiration dates and sizes of cans and all that stuff. I try, but when we do the store videos, I'm already going through an hour to an hour and a half of footage and I'm trying to cram down into 30 minutes. So it's like, that's, yes, it's important to know shrinkflation and stuff like that, but I mean, that's what we can all be doing on the channel to help a little bit, I guess, because it's too hard I can't spend 5 minutes going over the ingredients in a can of Campbell's. You know what I'm saying? We could save that for like a different video, I guess, but I know I get a lot of comments on that. It's too hard to go through all of that stuff. I know people have said, oh, it doesn't take any time at all to go through this stuff. When you start adding up, when you're doing these videos, especially every day, every second counts. Every second counts, and I as to where that is very relevant information, the more important thing to me is to tell you what is the best deal going on, right? In my head, I already know the size and stuff. If we notice any of this stuff, I'll point it out. If you notice any of this stuff, make sure you point it out, because that is how we're able to connect on a larger level here on this channel. I can't do everything. I can't. As much as I try, and I would like to, I can't. I have to stick to my regimen of how I do it. Otherwise, it's just gonna be too much. It's gonna be too much. I'm already like not burned out, but I mean, if I start adding all this other stuff into this, I don't know, maybe someday, but it's hard to cover everything. So I just try to cover prices, the best deals out here, and what's good to stock up on a lot of things. Now, I've already gone to the level of of making sure I'm checking comments in case, people are really missing something. I try to focus on a lot of things. I try to. When somebody says, I can't find Tylenol, right? We've had a lot of Canadian viewers that were saying they haven't been able to find Tylenol. So I pointed out acetaminophen, and again, I know it could be difficult to order, like from the United States or something. I don't know how that would... I don't know if that's all possible, but I have mentioned that in videos before. Anytime that there is something that's gone that people need, like we get hundreds and hundreds of comments on Ensure. The other day, somebody had watched a video of ours where it was an empty shelves video of all the protein drinks from 2 years ago, right? We saw it come back in. It's gotten ridiculously overpriced, right? And then they had seen the same video, thinking that this has gone on for years. No, it's happening again. And hopefully prices aren't going up again, but I try to give a little bit more attention to that because I know we have thousands of people on the channel that either have to have these drinks for nutrition, right? Or whatever. We got to the point, I felt like the whole channel was kind of half and half on like, well, why is he pointing out microwave meals? Those are terrible for you. I have thousands of people that don't like to cook or can't cook, or are handicapped and can't cook, or just don't want to cook. Either way, I report to my viewers once of what everybody for the best deals. If I see a deal for $10 on microwave meals, you better believe I'm going to point it out, especially if I know ahead of time. That's kind of why I went the other day when I was at Kroger, and I wasn't finding any sales on all the non-food items. That's why I was like, oh, I missed the microwave meal deals the other day. I did cover one of them in our Kroger video before, but there were a lot of them. I was like, okay, this is important. This is more important than overspending on a bottle of Listerine. I mean, this is how I felt. But anyway, wanted to touch on that. Some of the shortages, they're going to continue to grow. And the ones that we need to be concerned about are the ones that aren't coming back. So if you notice that there are things that aren't coming back, these are the ones we need to focus on as we go along too. But this is something that you'll have to pay attention to because I'm focusing on the best deals. If you're looking for more expensive products and things that are disappearing, sure, mention them on the channel. But what is one in one store may not be in another. It's one thing I like about shopping at Jungle Gyms, which is in Fairfield, Ohio, or the east side of Ohio. There's only 2 in the entire country, but that place has everything. I mean, they have somehow they pay the price, so you're going to pay the price, but they always have it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for letting me rant with you tonight. Hope you're. I don't know. Did I mention I was drinking Dunkin' coffee? Delicious. Delicious. One of my favorites. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.